Welcome to this week's episode of the Mountaineer podcast. I am joined by Drew, the intern.
Hello, hello.
So what is your official title since we just called you the intern?
The intern. I am the digital media intern here at Mansfield University, working really to get the new streaming service set up, along with doing the other social media stuff that you see from Mountie All-Access.
So what is Mountie All-Access for those of our viewers that might not know? What's its purpose?
So Mountie All-Access is a streaming service we have here to give you the opportunity to see Mountaineer athletics when you can't always get to the game, or rather are too lazy to get out of the bed to go and see the game. You have a chance to still catch it. We stream. To get there, you can go to gomounties.com/watch, or there's also links on the website itself to get to Mountie All-Access. And every home event we have done this year.
So you obviously do a great job in organizing and putting together the athletic events. You did a great job during basketball season, now heading into obviously field hockey, soccer before that, and now heading into baseball and softball. What brought you to Mansfield? Kind of give us a little bit of your background.
I was familiar with Mansfield. I'm from Wellsboro, so the town over. And really, it was an opportunity to still work in a conference that I'm familiar with and do the things that I feel I'm good at and can really get a good product. We put out, I think, one of the best products in the conference out of this conference initiative, and it being the first year, I'm happy. I'm very happy with the product that we are able to put out there.
Right. Mm-hmm. So what was the interview process like for you in coming to Mansfield? You're a local kid. You're from Wellsboro. What was that like to be able to get something close to home, and what was that process like for you?
It's a dream come true, first of all, to have a job in the field that I want to go to this close to home. But we had the phone interview with Ryan McNamara, the sports info director.
Yeah.
And then I came in. I actually met Janaea at that point, and just talked with Ryan Erie and Ryan McNamara at the time, and I somehow made a good impression on them, and they didn't know how awkward I really was.
I don't think anybody does until they actually get a chance to come in our office.
But at the time, I made a good enough impression, I guess, for them to come back. I think, too, a thing that really helped me is I was familiar with the conference. I went to Edinburgh, so we're still with the PSAC. I'm very familiar with it, and I think that we have been able to put out a good product.
Now, don't let Drew fool you. He may be awkward, but he has some of the best dance moves that I have ever seen. Oh, man.
I am the typical white man dancing.
Bust a move, man.
I'll clear a room dancing because they just need to go. They can't sit in the same room as me dancing. Also, there's always that one song. Now, there's that one song that if you hear, your body just takes over.
It goes out of control.
There's just, and for me, that's Kenny Loggins' Footloose. And I just go ham at it, and it's bad. There's plenty of video of me probably somewhere on the internet of me dancing.
Your inner Patrick Swayze starts to come out.
I've never been called Patrick Swayze. I know that for a fact.
Oh, we have a first here on the Mountaineer podcast.
Crazy legs is what I call. Okay, so my particular set of dancing is flailing awkwardly. I flail at a rhythm. That's my my dancing. It's bad.
So you're here at Mansfield this year. You're obviously in the process of deciding whether to come back or not next year. Big picture though, where do you see yourself? Where do you want to see yourself after Mansfield?
I love doing what I'm doing, so I would still love to be in that same vein of being able to produce for college athletics. I love working in college athletics. I love I don't know, there's just something about collegiate athletics too, that you have more stories in that you learn about new personalities, and I'm a big into the storytelling aspect of this. So any chance where I would still be able to to share that kind of story would be phenomenal for me.
So, favorite story you've told them? You say this is a storytelling thing. I mean, what's been the best one?
For here
for here specifically. We'll get into Edinburgh in a minute.
I think, for here it was interesting, especially what you saw with field hockey this year. The fact Brittany in her first year when she was here, they went winless. And she has worked and brought that program back. They had an All-American this year, and they are a respectable program now in the conference, which is the toughest conference, has had the national championship come out of this conference.
Yeah.
So I think she has done a fantastic job, and just the story of that growth and the seniors that graduated this year, and especially the seniors next year when their freshman year was that year.
Absolutely.
It's going to be fascinating to follow, and I think she did a great job, and there's just so much there too with not only Brittany Hansrow, but Brittany Ryan, an All-American.
Absolutely.
Having those seniors, I think there's plenty of room, especially with that, for great stories.
Now, you've also come up with one of the bigger things that come out of our department every week, which is the play of the week. Now, you just had your winter wrap-up, and the bracket was awesome. I love the idea of doing like the March Madness style head-to-head. Our esteemed colleague sitting behind the camera right now, Mark Shelley, one of the plays that he had a pretty memorable call on. How many times do you think he went and voted for himself in that bracket?
Goes up and slams it home! Malik Carter! No!
I don't know.
He's saying 0. How many times do you think he actually did, though?
I mean, he could still have a chance to go low, but look, I think the fact that play, I'll give him a little bit of a break.
The play itself was pretty phenomenal.
Because the play was great and the call was great, and we were featured on the 4-letter network.
4 letters.
ESPN shared on all of their social medias that play with that call. So I mean, he's got a lot to be proud of.
Yeah.
To have him. Plus, they've used it in other things, like other promos. So like, where's our money?
Yeah, exactly. We're coming for you, ESPN.
No, but like it's really cool to see too that something from Mountie All-Access has been used frequently by a conglomerate as big as ESPN.
And let's not get this out of whack here. We're all very proud of Mark and being on his toes there and making the call that he did and the success that it's brought.
I mean, calling a game is very difficult because in moments that too.
Yeah.
Like I called the women's basketball here. I called a sprint football game this year, but I called also every sport that Edinburgh had.
Absolutely.
You can't plan that sort of thing.
You can't. It's
like if you plan it and say it, it will not sound genuine, and so like you can't go into saying if there's going to be a dunk, I'm going to scream, "Oh no, he didn't!" I'm going to scream it. Like you can't go into any broadcast with a set of planned statements,
right?
Because you won't sound genuine. One of the best calls of all time is the "Do you believe in miracles?" And the point I'm making there is in that movie Miracle that they made about it, he redid all of his calls, but he said, "I will not do that last one because you will not get the same thing."
No,
because it was such an in the moment type.
And see, I haven't got to experience that yet. That's something you and Mark got to experience together the whole year. I'm stuck behind the stat computer, making sure you guys have some content to put out besides what's on the floor, but get my screen time here. So, so you went to Edinburgh before this, laid the groundwork for what you're doing now. What was your favorite memory from working at Edinburgh, going to school at Edinburgh?
At Edinburgh, it was a lot of fun too. Their athletic director is Bruce Baumgartner, who's an Olympic wrestler.
Yeah,
they had Division I wrestling. I think covering that and being able to talk to people who are All-Americans in the national championship match. I think the connections I made there were fantastic. We had, again, some great storytelling opportunities with the 0-11 to a 9-3 year. Had a coach who then got a job with Syracuse. So we've had a lot of things, and But to actually answer your question,
Yeah.
dancing around it here, but to actually answer your question, I think the best moment for me was, so we had Ohio State and Iowa in the time I was there come in to face us in wrestling. Yes. The Ohio State match was really interesting because they had Logan Stiebler against Mitch Port, which ended up being a national championship preview because they met in the national championship. And we were working that game, and there was a call at the end of a period that they had to come check our footage to see if they got the points or not, and just to realize that, wow, what I'm doing is making a difference in this big of a match was great. And then Iowa, my senior year, they came in at the end of the year, and I'll put it this way, I'm not a huge fan of Mr. Brands at Iowa. I get that you're a big school, and at this end of the year thing, because Edinburgh won the EWL that year, they have a special thing where they take Big Ten schools and you go to these places, but they didn't want the third team in the country coming to little old Edinburgh, and Mr. Brands made a point of reminding us that. But I think just those two things, very different circumstances, and those were my favorite moments.
Okay. So to wrap up here, it's the same questions we have to ask at the end of every podcast. One food for the rest of your life.
One food. Oh man. If I have to do food, if I have to pick a food, it's going to be a dish. Can I do that? Can I pick a dish?
Now, see, this was just an individual food.
Okay,
but Luke Hills kind of broke us of that last week.
If you find a loophole.
There's always a loophole.
Look, if I have to do one food, it would probably be chicken.
Okay.
Like chicken divan is this casserole.
What in the world is chicken divan?
My mother makes. That is it's chicken. It's got it's a casserole. Chicken, broccoli, breaded on top of it. It's really good, and that would be my dish.
Well, if we were
but if I had to choose just a food,
a chicken divan, fancy here on the Mountaineer podcast. And 3 movies.
So actually, this I was thinking about because I don't just want to pick my 3 favorite movies.
These are 3 movies that you have to be able to tolerate.
Looking at this, so I would do. You need your adventure or action movie.
Okay.
You need your movie that makes you feel something, and then just a turn off your brain comedy.
Yes.
So the turn off your brain comedy, I would go in the vein of Adam Sandler and go Mr. Deeds.
Okay.
In the movie that makes you feel, Gridiron Gang, it stars The Rock. Also, that is the only movie where The Rock has ever escaped into a character. Because The Rock is The Rock in every movie he's in. That's the only movie he's ever escaped into a character. And then the action-adventure one, I kind of had a hard time figuring it out. I'd probably go Titanic, because it's a long movie, and it has a lot of different types of movies in that one movie.
Titanic.
So I'd go Titanic. So Titanic, Gridiron Gang, and Mr. Deeds. Those would be my 3 movies.
All right. Solid picks here on the Mountaineer podcast. Almost in tears here with the Titanic with that last pick. So thanks everybody for tuning in to this week's episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube page and to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and